Let's see who we got in the crowd. Oh my God, we got the big shots there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Hi. So, how many in this room has blood pressure? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the rest has it. They don't want to tell us. Okay. So it's a super common condition. That's why we picked this topic, and we'll show you how to get that under control. Alright, so just housekeeping things. Make sure all your phones are on silent mode. Whosoever phone buzzes, they're going to take over the talk and pay the food bill. So make sure your phones are on silent.
Thanks for the shirt, Tom.
Alright. Alright, so this is the scope of the talk, and the way I'd like to do is I'll go through it and then I'll leave some time in the end for specific questions. So that way, we can go through the bulk of the topic. Otherwise, if I get interrupted, then we can't touch everything important here. Alright, so what is high blood pressure? So if you look at the diagram on the right, that's the artery, a big artery like your brachial artery or any big artery where we check the blood pressure, femoral artery. So the top number, let's say in this diagram, is 130. So that's when the heart pumps. When the heart pumps, it puts pressure against the artery, and that's the number we look at in the top. That's called systolic blood pressure. The bottom number is heart pumps, and then it relaxes. When it relaxes, we get the bottom number. So both numbers are important. We used to think the top number has more value, but now the studies have shown both numbers are important. So the high blood pressure is basically the heart pumping, pushing the blood through, and we are measuring how much is at when it's pumping and how much is at the rest. So that's top and bottom numbers. So why we want to talk about high blood pressure? We saw in the room most of the people has high blood pressure. It's a very common condition as we get into the senior years. That's one reason. The other reason I was preparing for the talk, and I didn't realize how profound it is if we can make a change and bring it down. So if you can bring 10 millimeter of mercury down, so that let's say your pressure is at 160, and with what you learned from our talk, lifestyle changes, watching your salt, your medications, meditating, breathing, whatever we're going to learn here, you bring it down by just say 10 points. So you're 160 and you're bringing down to 150. Studies have shown just 10-point drop in the pressure lowers your risk of strokes, heart attack, heart failure by 20 to 30%. 20 to 30%, 10-point reduction. It's huge. It's massive. So, people come to me, they're already on 2 medications, 3 medications for blood pressure, and they say, the numbers are 170, 180. Why you want to bring it down? I'm already taking too many. Then the question is what they're not doing right with their lifestyle. So we'll come to that. And the other important thing is that, let's say, God forbid you get shingles, you're going to come running to me. Why? Because it's painful. It's not going to kill you. Hopefully it doesn't affect your eyes or your ears. But it says, hey, go and get attention. Blood pressure is silent most of the time. There are some symptoms associated with that, but rarely does it give you symptoms. So by the time it gives you symptoms, it's too late. Either get a stroke, heart attack, heart failure, legs are swollen, you're more short of breath. So it's very important to, since most of the people we have in this room are 55 plus, to monitor it regularly, because you may not have any symptoms. Like example I gave is shingles, you have symptoms, you'll come to me, but this is silent. So that's why it's important to get it checked. And then, while we're at the point of checking, it's very important to check it right. Garbage in, garbage out. So what I mean by that is, if you're not sitting with your feet on the ground, if you didn't empty your bladder, and if you're not checking with the right size cuff, and this part of your hand is at the level of your heart, the numbers you're getting has no meaning. And also, a lot of time people have blood pressure machines which are driven by batteries, and the batteries leak out as they sit in the machine for a long time. So my first rule of thumb is, what part of your body you're checking your blood pressure. A lot of people have the radial artery, which is smaller artery, and that will give you numbers which are not accurate. You need to have the brachial artery up here in your arm, and you should have an adapter to hook up with the electric. That way you get consistent inflation of the cuff. And talking about cuff, the cuff should be accurate. If you have fatty arms and the biceps are this big, and using a small cuff, you're going to have high blood pressure. That's not the right number. So if you're using your mom's blood pressure machine, which is radial artery and tight, you come running to me and, my pressure is 180. I know what you took, let me check now. So now you're sitting, your back is against the back of the chair, your feet on the ground, you emptied your bladder, you're not in a rush, you've been spent 10-15 minutes relaxing in my office, not rushing in. That's the time to check it, and that too with right size cuff and right position of your arm. So without that, we don't have a good starting point. So that's very important to have a good starting point. So for the sake of this talk, we'll focus on the first one, the primary hypertension. The secondary hypertensions are not as common, and more in younger population. The white coat syndrome, yes, that's an issue, but it still have ramification if your pressure goes up in stress. Can you open the door?
You're like bad girl.
All right, come and join the club.
I'm kidding with him.
All right, if you want to talk, you want to hear about blood pressure too, you're too young.
There's a couple chairs over here.
What?
All right, why don't you settle down? We're in the middle of the talk. Have a chair right there and stay quiet.
You don't want to say?
Alright, so moving forward, we talked about symptoms of the high blood pressure. Last time you don't get it, but if you get symptoms of the blood pressure, those could be some of them. It could be a headache if the pressure is high, ringing or buzzing sound in the ear. You may get short of breath, but that's late in the disease when you're getting heart failure or heart issues. Blurring of vision, again, that could be late in the disease when you're getting stroke symptoms. Chest pain, again, is later. It won't be the first symptoms. And nausea, upset stomach could be happening too. But those are some of them, but I'm not that keen on remembering those because it's mostly solid, that's why. So that's the number we're looking at and why it's important. If you look at the bottom piece, 46% of adults with high blood pressure are unaware because it's silent disease. So it's very important that if you have family history of high blood pressure, mom, dad, immediate family, brothers, sisters, get you checked. Annual. Just open the door, please. Yeah, thank you.
I didn't hear anybody. Oh, sorry. I'm concentrating on you, not listening to the door.
That's okay. Come on in, man.
You?
There's a chair right here.
Appreciate it, thank you, doctor.
Oh, no problem.
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Maybe you can eat in the end.
Okay.
Yeah, eat in the end. Let's just, because we heard of the talk.
No problem, no problem.
Sorry.
Thank you, sir, no problem.
Sorry.
Have a seat, please. The phone needs to be on the side, otherwise you're paying the bill for the food.
Right?
Alright, everyone settle down. The phones are on silent. Thank you. So the reason it's important is 1.28 billion is a lot of people who have high blood pressure. So what are the risk factors? Why we see it in so many people? We talked about older age, we talked about genetics, being overweight, not being physically active, high salt diet. You know, the high salt diet, if you look at Western diet, you know, it's cheaper to go to McDonald's to have a meal than to cook at home. And that's a shame, because what you're gonna get in the, nothing against McDonald's, you can pick healthy choices there too if you want to, but most of the things will be having fries and, you know, not just McDonald's, any fast food restaurant for in that matter. What you're gonna get is processed food, a lot of salt, a lot of fried food, a lot of processed food. And all that is causing, you know, disease, whether it's high blood pressure, whether it's causing, you know, diabetes. So, you know, if I become president, after this president vacates the office, I'll stop all the fast food joints. I think the healthcare costs will go down by 50%. That's how profound those entities are on our diet and on health, and causing us to get obese and get all the, you know, chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and their complications like dialysis, strokes, and heart attacks. So, less processed food, moral of the story. Because I won't become president and the fast food will keep growing. So, so you know, you don't go through them. That's the moral of the story. And they will shrink if people will stop going there, if there's less demand, and people are more educated like the good folks here in this room, you know, there will be less out there. And that should be, you know, our goal, to mostly cook at home with fresh ingredients, and you will do well. Drinking too much alcohol. People think, you know, alcohol is available in public, 7-Eleven, you know, it's okay. Well, you know, the alcohol lobby has done a better job than cigarette lobby. You know, they are more controlled and they get more bad press. But alcohol is equally bad in terms of causing serious health issues like high blood pressure. And consumption of tobacco also raises your blood pressure, it lowers your oxygen, tightens up the artery. Anyone in this room does cocaine? Okay, just checking. That also raises your blood pressure.
Great question.
Yeah, like we tell you.
Some
So,
would.
some of the risk factors, we can do something about it. These are called modifiable risk factors. Some of the risk factors, we can't do anything. You know, like if your mom has high blood pressure, your dad has high blood pressure, you got no choice. You know, you're born and where you're born. But we can do something about the first category, and we'll talk more about each of them one at a time. So for those of you who came later in the talk, I gave a you know, one fact which is very striking to me when I was preparing for this talk. That if you lower your pressure by 10 millimeter of mercury from 160 to 150, from 150 to 140, you can lower your risk of strokes and heart attack and heart failure by 30%. That's how profound these changes are if you can put in your lifestyle. So what can we do, which is, you know, which is in our hand? So we talked about, you know, food. So if you can eat mostly foods rich in potassium, and not eat foods rich in salt, like for example, pretzel, chips, fries, if you consume less of those? What are the foods rich in potassium? Good. Banana is one. For that matter, if you go to any grocery store and look on your right where the produce section is, or left, whichever way they set it up, but they set it up in the back, so you have to go through buy one get one Lay's chips and soda pop and this. Everything is by design in these stores. You can't resist. Oh, let me get 2 of those, and before you know, your basket is full before by the time you get to the produce section. That's where the money should be spent. So, if I were going to go grocery shopping, I'll go to the produce section first. Why? Because all the potassium containing foods are right there. You pick blindly any fruit you enjoy. You pick blindly any veggies you enjoy. Fill that cart with that. And then go to, other sections which are in a bag. So if it comes from a factory, spit it out. If it comes from a plant, eat more. But if it comes from a manufacturing plant, split it out. So more you're going to eat the fruits and veggies, beans and nuts, whole grains, more you're going to get potassium in your diet, more the pressure will go down. Just by that small switch. So that's why I was making a point about processed food and fast food joints, that they provide you a lot of salt. Because why salt is so popular? A, it makes it tasty. You don't have salt on your food, you say, But you can replace it. You can replace the salt with herbs. So make sure you have some herbs, dried herbs on your dinner table. So you can put those instead of, and don't keep your salt shaker there. Keep your pepper shaker there, keep your herbs shaker there, but don't keep the salt shaker close to where you sit and eat. Try that minor small change. That'll make a big difference. Avoid alcohol, we talked about that. Physical activity, even 10 minutes of walk from your home to the, outside if you have a mailbox, away from your home if you live in a park or something. Even that, a couple of times a day, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, will bring your pressure down. It will help you feel good. It will help you digest your food. It will help your legs. You'll have less falls. And it's free. So just a small change, starting your shopping by going to produce section first, adding a 10 minutes walk, avoiding that liquor or a holiday drink as the holidays are coming, will make a profound difference in your overall health. Not just high blood pressure, diabetes, you'll have less issues with sleeping. Everything is tied together. The body does not live in vacuum. If the heart health is good, your brain health is good. One of the biggest side effects of uncontrolled blood pressure is dementia. Think about it. Dementia. That means your memory going away. High blood pressure, uncontrolled, cause dementia. Because your brain arteries get harder, and then the tissues start withering away. They don't get enough flow there, they don't get enough oxygen there. So those simple things, I know everyone in this room, 60 plus or close to that, you should be worried about dementia. Because, we live in a society where the kids have gone, they have their own lives. God forbid you get dementia, who's going to take care of you? The way the Medicaid is shrinking, there won't be that money available next 10, 15, 20 years. So if you take good care of your health, the chronic condition, you'll have less to worry about conditions like that 10, 15, 20 years from now. So it's not just lowering your blood pressure, which is what we're talking about here. In the body, everything is connected. The heart is connected to the brain is connected to your gut, the gut is connected with your rest of the organs. So if you take good care of your gut by eating better, your microbiome in the gut, the healthy bacteria in the gut, or your bacteria and viruses and fungus, which is what makes the microbiome, become healthier. It becomes healthier, you have better emotions. You better emotions, you go out and walk. So everything is connected in the body. That's the point I'm making. So if you make good choices in your lifestyle, it will help you with chronic conditions, prevention down the line. So aim for healthy weight. Even 5-pound weight loss, I'm happy. If you can keep it. A lot of people want the magic drugs like Ozempic, Mounjaros, Zepbound of the world. I tell them one thing, yes, they're magical, they will help you lose weight. But in senior population, which is most of the crowd here, what I worry about with those drugs and the weight losses, the drug does not care. It will make you lose your fat, plus it will make you lose your muscles, plus it will make you lose your bones. Now, minute you stop, let's say, the co-payment went up or it's not on formulary anymore 6 months, a year from now, yeah, you lose 30, 40, 50 pounds. Now you gain that back and the muscles are gone and the bones are gone. So unless you exercise vigorously with those drugs, you're setting yourself up for problem a year, 6 months down the line when you stop. So it's very important to not just get carried away by the latest fads. The lifestyle changes will always help you. It won't hurt you. It will help you head to toe. If you make better choices with your fruits and veggies, limiting your alcohol, 10 minutes more exercise twice a day, a little bit 5-pound weight loss in 3 months, I'm happy. Pound a month. Everyone can do that a little bit. Drink more water, eat more veggies, not have bread when you go out to eat. Make better choices. I'm not saying don't eat out. When you go out to eat, order a salad first. Don't get bread. Say, no, I don't want bread. Bring bread in the end. So don't say no, it's free. So you want to definitely, we all sucker for free. So just say bring it in the end. Change your ordering habits. Don't get dessert. Don't get soda pop, don't get juices. Just get water, lime, or something like that. Lemonade without sugar. And get a soup. Not, hearty soup. Not just to put less salt. If they can, sometimes it's pre-formatted recipe. But my point is, if you have salad, water, and a soup, you're full. Take the rest home. You're not going to eat it. How many times you eat the leftover?
All the time.
He's the exception, but most of the people, they don't even look at it.
And the wives, so yes.
Yeah. So point I'm making is we at least deferred it. Even you eat it later, you spend good penny on it, you should. But what I'm saying is, at least you deferred the calorie intake at that time by having calorie sparse food like water and salad. So start your meal always if you go out with that. Just by a simple, small change, you will see the difference. And don't order dessert or bread. Like if you're smoking, my recommendation is if you take anything out of this talk, don't smoke. Or if your friends or family, your brother, sister smoke, tell them that they're spending their own money to get their own strokes, own lung cancer. And I know it's difficult. Sometimes you're addicted to it. But if you can make that minor change in your overall health, cutting alcohol, cutting smoking, your pressures will get better and everything head to toe will get better. Your sense of smell improve, your sense of taste improve, you can take a deeper breath, and plus there's more money in your pocket. Those suckers are $25-$30 a pack these days. So you do the math, you can spend that money on fruits and veggies.
And cruises.
And cruises. We're talking to an ex-smoker here.
55 years and I've been clean for 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've done a good job.
Congratulations.
One other thing which is very, important to me, and I think we do less in our lifestyle is managing stress. I think, we as a society become more lonely. We have less community. Churches are falling apart, the membership's gone down. The neighborhoods change so rapidly these days. So that's causing a lot of stress to us as a society. And that's causing a lot of chronic conditions, like for example, high blood pressure, depression, overweight because we use food as a crutch when we are stressed. So if we can do a little bit community activities, volunteer activities, look at what's causing you stress, could be your kids, change your phone numbers. I know, the one which are closest to your heart give you the most grief. That's Mother Nature's law. And we always get guilty as parents that we did some mistake in raising them, so we keep giving them money or cars or, whatever. He's a smart man here, he's shaking his head.
No,
So-
not
so-
bitch.
So managing your stress, whatever the cause is, sometimes it's hard to manage the stress, but just a small change will make a difference. Going out in the sun is very good to help you with the stress. We're blessed with sun in Florida. That's why most of the people, I guess half this room I can see, they move from northern part of the country to Florida to get more sun. And then if you ask them how much time they spend in it, a lot of time they don't. So early morning sun is what I call God's hour. If you can go in early morning sun, you will see less pollution, less people, more birds. You get connected with the good Lord at the time. And it's good for you getting vitamin D, which also helps you with, reducing your stress. So early morning walk is one of the best walk you can do if you're a morning person. If you're not a morning person, do it in the evening, afternoon, whatever time is safe for you. But morning time is God's hour. So if you can go out, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you can do with your abilities or lack of abilities. I see some holding canes, some have arthritis, some have, different ailments. But 10 minutes everyone can do. 5 minutes back. It will change your day if you start that way. So that will help you cope with the stress better. We can only change ourselves. We can't change our wives, our children, we can't change any of that. Our neighbors, whichever is causing you stress. But we can change ourselves. Just going out in the sun will make a difference. And walking. Walking is like rosary. Walking is rosary. Why? What's so therapeutic about doing rosary? You're doing the repetition, right? You're moving the beach, it gets you. Same thing with walking. You're using the same muscles over and over again. Same muscles. And that gets you. So, walking is one of the best exercises you can do. If you can do it 10 minutes, I'm happy. The last, not the least, which is all connected. If you do all the things at the top well, less alcohol, smoke less, manage your stress, and walk, and eat better, and not eat big dinners, you will do the last part well. The last part is good sleep. The sleep is, end of the day, accumulation of what you've done throughout the day. A lot of people come to me and say, hey doc, I can't sleep, I can't initiate sleep, can you give me Ambien, can you give me Valiums? I say, yes, I can do all that, but it won't get you restful sleep, won't bring your blood pressure down if you have, not a happy sleep. Why? Because you don't get REM sleep or the restful sleep with any of these drugs. You only get REM sleep by tiring yourself out, by doing a little bit of breathing exercise, by eating well, by not having big dinners. You will have a restful sleep and managing your stress throughout the day. So, and less alcohol. Alcohol does interrupt your sleep. So, holidays, be careful. So this is something called a DASH diet. Now, this is a diet which has been proven over and over again with multiple studies to lower your blood pressure. And this is a diet I already talked to you in different aspects just before we got here. But if you look at on the left-hand panel where they have a tick mark, it says eat this and limit this. What's on the top? Veggies. And next is fruits. So we already talked about that. You know, this is God's beautiful gift to us, the veggies and fruits.
Amen.
If we consume more and more, so my goal is, if you look at that plate, if we can consume 3/4 of that plate as fruits and veggies, anytime we sit down and confirm, it's 3/4 of the plate is fruits and veggies. Whatever ailments you have, they will get less. That's how profound they are in terms of giving us, well, the most important piece what they give us is fiber. You know, if you look at any processed food, what they do is they need, you know, you go to the car line, you place your order, you know, at any fast food joint. They have 2 minutes to get your food out to the window. How they can do it this quick without fiber? Minute they put fiber in any of that food, it will take longer to cook. They don't want it. They want to go shh, shh, shh. We are impatient too. We start honking, you know, it's more than 2 minutes. You know. But that's the most magical ingredient in the food which comes built in with fruits and veggies. Now, I'm not saying juicing. Please, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying consume it the way they come. Why? This man has a question about that. So when you juice, you take the fiber out. You break it down. You want the two kinds of fiber, the soluble, the insoluble fiber. Now, once you break down the fiber, it gets absorbed in your small bowel. It does not go to your colon. If it doesn't go to your colon, you get all the sugars from the fruits and vegetables early on. It's not slow release kind of the way Mother Nature planned that fruit and vegetable to be. So if you squeeze it, yeah, you get some nutrients, you're getting, better than Coke, but you're not getting the magical ingredient, the fiber. So if you look at top 3 choices here, and you can add other things too, like beans is phenomenal superfood, nuts and seeds. Don't, do the things on the right hand panel, the fatty meats, the fatty dairy, the sugar sweetened beverages, juices, soda pop, desserts, we talked about that. If you cut back those and add more fish, more olive oil to your food, more quinoa, more brown rice, any of those, all of those, it will lower your pressure. This is not me talking, this is, you can Google it, it's called DASH diet, that's been checked. Decades after decades, it lowers your pressure. And it's good food to eat. It's environment friendly. To create a pound of beef or a cattle, to raise a cattle, you have to give that cattle a lot of hay. And to get the hay, you have to put a lot of water, a lot of fertilizer, a lot of pesticide to raise it. Or soya, whatever you're feeding the cattle, the corn. Now, if that same energy we spend on producing the veggies or whole grain for human consumption, we won't have to waste the energy resources on the cattle. And the thing is, the resources are getting limited and limited. There's more droughts. So we can either feed the cattle, time will come in next 50 or 100 years, or we feed ourselves. So, it is environmental friendly, it is good for you, more fiber. Alright, so we talked about most of these changes, the lifestyle changes, healthy weight, quit smoking, managing stress, getting good sleep. All those things lower your blood pressure. I'll spend a little bit of time on medication, not a whole lot, because everyone is different, everyone needs for medications are different, everyone responds to medication in different ways, so there is no one magical blood pressure medication which fits all. And then you have to adjust it, as you go along, you get other medication, there's interaction. So once you get on blood pressure medication, it's very important to follow through with your physicians on a regular basis. The reason being, let's pick the top one, the ACE inhibitor. Anyone in this room has taken the lisinopril, pinipril, any of those pills for blood pressure? So there's one. Most of the people have. 10 years ago now they switched to the losartans and of the world, which is the number 2 category. If you're taking any of those 2 medications, great class of drugs, but you got to monitor the potassium, you got to monitor kidney function. So they're not the medications you take once a year supply and disappear. Because the pressure goes up, pressure goes down. You lost weight, pressure goes down. You listen to my magical talk and you went running from here to Publix and cleaned up the produce shelf and your pressure went down in a month. Now you need to cut down the medication. Because low blood pressure in seniors is a problem too. You get dizzy and you fall, you break your hip, you'll end up in nursing home. So the point I'm making is medications are phenomenal, but your life changes, you get other medication, your weight changes. You need to adjust your medication and you need to monitor the blood. So it's never too late to take control of your blood pressure, improve your overall health, do healthy choices. They won't bite you. Eating more fruits and vegetables, more whole grain, more fish, never gonna bite you. It will help you with. So just remember that whatever is good for your heart is good for your brain. So the DASH diet or the Mediterranean diet, which is similar, helps you with dementia prevention too. So, again, everything in the body is connected. Just a small difference, eating a little bit less of salty food, the processed food, the restaurant food, and cooking a little bit more at home, and filling up your plate with fruits and veggies will make a big difference in your overall health. Alright, so we're coming to the end. It's a serious condition. It happened in older patients, so this is the people in this room. So at what point you should call 911? You will know. You've been around the block a few years now. So heart attack, strokes, the symptoms, that can get worse with higher pressures. So yeah, don't sit on it. So let's review what are the take-home points here. So the take-home points is small changes. I know I asked a lot of lifestyle changes to be done. Just make one small change. That'll make this talk worth for you to come and spend your time here. One small change. Maybe eat a little bit more fruits and vegetables. Maybe order from Uber Eats less. Maybe go to the McDonald's a little bit less, or whatever, Chick-fil-A or whatever is your joint you hang out. Maybe have more beans in your diet. Maybe have a little bit more veggies. Maybe when you go to a restaurant, you order water, salad, and say no to bread up front. Just say bring the bread in there. Maybe say no to dessert. Maybe say no to soda pop. Right? So even small things like that. Maybe 10 minutes of walk. Add that to your regimen. Maybe go early morning and take your wife, your friend, your dog, your dad, your mom, whatever. Go with someone so you can stick with that program. Just one small change, maybe shoot for a goal of 3-pound weight loss in 3 months, 1 pound a month. Just a micro change will have a beautiful cascade effect on your overall health. That's it, what I got for you for high blood pressure, and what can you do about it? Any questions?
What about green bread? Is that good? 12 green bread.
What are the choices?
If you eat bread, you need green
what's the
bread.
best bread to eat?
Right, so that's a great question. So the question is, if you're eating bread, what's a good bread to eat? Any bread, if you go out there, which is teeming with nuts and seeds, and it's not white, you'll be all right. But then it boils down to portions as well. So, if you're consuming the whole loaf of bread in 2 days, no matter how healthy the bread is, you're going to get fat.
Well, when you cut it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Big chunks.
Yeah, so, good question, yes, the breads are good,
So
you know,
rye
it's
bread is
just,
good?
your rye bread is good, whole grain bread,
Okay.
multi-grain bread,
That's the
you'll
other
never go wrong. Sprouted wheat bread is one of the best too, you know, the sprouts add protein. The sprouted, have anyone had sprouted
Yeah,
bread?
okay.
Look in Publix has it.
What
all
about
these-
sourdough?
Sourdough is okay, it has some fermentation, so it's better than white bread,
I
but
was told eat sourdough because it goes through you.
sourdough has fermentation, so that's okay, but it's still white.
Right.
You know, so the white mean the husk has been taken out. And that's the most important part in the grain. Why? Because that's where the fiber is.
Fiber is the.
Good question though, thank you.
What?